Welcome to another episode of Elevate by Mdina Partners. And today I'm joined by Taja, who has the fanciest title I have ever heard, Senior World Builder. We're here today to talk about the opportunities that the world of work has given us between remote and creating an office culture. But before we even touch on that big leadership debate, I think we need to understand, for the simpletons, and I'm talking about myself, what is a senior world builder and what do you do?
Okay, so senior world builder. Basically, it's not as scary as it sounds.
Okay.
So basically, I lead the 3D and art team
At Axon
at
Park.
Axon Park, and our job is basically to create the environments and the experiences that
Okay.
students and the users will come in and just basically immerse themselves in.
Okay, so Axon Park exists to be able to create virtual realities for educational purposes and to give that like next level experience. And you are the person creating that world for them.
Yeah, me and my team.
Fantastic. Okay,
Definitely.
exactly. And there's a team behind that. So now, Taja, knowing that we both like to chat, I'm going to try and test you now. Let's see. Maybe your story in a little bit of a summary. How does one become a senior world builder?
Having a lot of free time and just basically learning and practicing in your free time. But yeah. How did I get this job? Virtual reality. So it started at the pandemic.
Okay.
I was working at a branding consultant at the time.
Okay, so
Mostly
the art field was always
field.
a happy space for you to be in.
It has always been there.
Okay.
But yeah, during the pandemic, I decided to pick up an Oculus Quest headset.
Okay.
And I started getting into virtual reality. And
Okay.
I was just blown away.
Okay.
Just being in there and actually interacting with people because of lockdown, you couldn't interact and socialize. But then,
So you literally found a world where there was no social world.
Yes.
Okay.
there was a world. There was socializing and worlds and worlds within worlds when socializing was impossible. And I think the light bulb moment was when I realized, oh, I can actually create in here, and that's when I guess the art background shifted from 2D to 3D.
Okay.
So that's when I picked up all the 3D software and just started learning game engines.
Okay. And so then the skill set you had in graphics and all of that is now contributed to creating these worlds.
Yes, it was
Super.
transferable.
Okay, fantastic. And so now you're only just based in Malta, right? Originally from Jakarta.
Originally from
Yes,
Jakarta.
which is a beautiful place
Yes.
with the best menus I have tasted.
I miss the food. I miss the food.
No,
Yeah.
we'll take care of you with Maltese food. Come on. But literally 3 weeks fresh in. And this is probably your first time you're in the same country as the team you lead.
Yes.
And the same, one of the things you've told me is the same time zone, which is a bigger thing.
Oh, yeah.
What has been, so you've worked both in an office setup and with Axon Park have been working only remote for the past 2-ish, 3 years, I would say. What was the biggest mind shift for you going from, in the office space world to a completely remote team across different time zones?
So the biggest shift in the mindset was basically, so when you're in an office setting, you can always walk to the team's desk and just look over their shoulder and just check out, what are you doing?
That looks pretty.
That looks pretty. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
But, with a remote setting, you can't do that. So I think a lot of the mindset leaned in towards communication and documentation.
Okay.
So everything has to be in writing, everything has to be detailed and organized and just clearly communicated to each other.
Okay.
So that was the biggest one.
So really interesting, because what you're saying is exactly, a lot of people look at the remote world as if it is this unstructured, wild place where
It is
your
not.
employees might be having a nap, things are happening on their own. But actually what you're saying is like, for this to work, the biggest shift was adding more structure to be able to allow for the unstructured element of it. Okay.
Exactly.
So one of the things, and obviously I've been observing and I've had the pleasure of also working from a training aspect with Axon Park. So now getting to know the team slowly. And one thing that I think you guys are doing well, you're doing many things well, but I think the curiosity in a world I will probably never understand is one of the things you're doing well, but one of the things you're doing well from a human point of view, from a people point of view, is you've got the culture down. What do you think you did to be able to contribute that? How did you contribute to having people in Indonesia, people in Malta, people in, where else are they based? There's Italy,
Italy, London.
Yeah.
I think Canada now as well
Okay, so
recently.
time zones of all sorts,
zones.
accents of all sorts, and contributions of all sorts, which is beautiful. How did you bring all of this together to have one culture, and one culture of belonging more than anything?
Well, I can't take credit for that one because that was something that was
Even before your time?
even before my time.
Okay.
Management and also project management kind of formed this entire thing. The sense of belonging, I guess, starts from our stand-up meetings
Okay.
every week.
Okay.
We get to contribute, we get to basically communicate what we're doing this
Okay.
week, what we've done last week, but also we have regular show and tells
Okay.
every now and then. And that's when we basically make presentations and just show, this is what our department built. And, you know, and aside from things related to work.
So it reduces that distance.
It reduces the distance because,
Okay.
you know, even though you might not understand what the AI department is doing or what the Unreal Engine team is doing, at least
what?
Unreal Engine, that's the game engine that we're using.
Okay.
It is pretty unreal. But yeah.
Okay, so even if you're not understanding it, the show and tell
show and
opportunity, which is actually something beautiful from childhood. So you're bringing back that opportunity of things we used to also love and proudly do. Okay.
Yeah, and it works because I guess it does give a sense of belonging because everyone in the team gets to see what the other teams are doing, and you know, all of this culminates and combines into this thing that we're building together.
Okay.
And it's not just about work stuff. Like sometimes we do have personal development days.
Okay.
Where if you achieve something outside of work or in your hobby, you can also share it. You're given an opportunity to share that with everyone.
Fantastic. Okay. So, and then actively as a leader yourself, because you have a team, how do you keep that alive? So that's across the company. How do you keep that sense of belonging, especially if I take you back a month ago where you were in Indonesia on a different time zone completely to your team in Malta? How do you keep that sense of connection across a globe?
Basically talking, just communicating.
Being human about it.
Being human about it, yeah. Okay. Because the thing about being separated by time zones is that, again, you don't get to stand next to the water cooler or have a coffee or something. Everything is remote. So, you know, showing genuine interests in what they're doing outside of work, you know, maybe if they're active in a theater group or something, you want to talk about it, you want to know what's going on, you're encouraging that as well because, you know, it's always good when the team has interests outside of work.
Absolutely.
Because that brings inspiration in. Because, you know, creativity happens when your mind is at play, when your mind is having fun. But if you're stuck at work on the desk and just kind of like just scrolling down Pinterest and looking for references, it's not.
It doesn't work, especially in
work.
your world, I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's really interesting because whilst almost this remote world to the leader who might be fearful of investing in it, although realistically no one's had a choice, which is brilliant in my opinion. And again, I'm also talking from a position of I am based in a different country to all of my team and have done this now for almost 3 years. You're really echoing a lot of the things that I had to learn probably the hard way. I wish I met you before, which was get the brief right.
Yeah.
So it is actually more effort, more structure, but it works more beautifully as well. That's what I'm hearing you say. So dedicate official time because there isn't that coincidental conversation. So you need to have it structured and it needs to be there. Dedicate time to avoiding those misinterpretations.
Yes.
Because or else they really create havoc and they're more I think they get a bit more emotional when you might have been working on the wrong thing for a few hours because of a time zone as well.
Yep.
So it is really almost add more structure to that unstructure.
Yes.
Okay.
The thing about remote working is, like you said, everybody thinks, oh, it's the Wild West. You know, they could be
They
napping
could
and
be
doing
doing
the dishes.
anything. Yeah.
Well, yeah, why not? But the thing is, if you get everything right and you
Bravo.
brief them right and you guide them correctly,
Bravo.
the job gets done right.
Yes.
And that's all that matters.
So exactly, are we interested in having bums on seats in a desk, or are we in an office?
Yeah.
Or are we interested in the objectives? And what you're saying is, yes, do the dishes if you need to do the dishes. And one thing you've told me is kind of go for a walk if you need to go for
Yes.
a walk.
Get some sun.
Yeah.
Get some sun.
The right place.
Stop being indoors. Go outside.
Yes.
Just go outside. It's important.
Yeah.
It's important, and it's good to give them a little bit of that freedom and that time back.
Okay.
As long as you do the work.
Yeah.
As long as we
Yeah.
get the results.
That's it.
fine.
Okay.
Whatever you do on your time, that's fine.
So actually, I'm curious about it because in your world, this flexibility serves you even more. So my curiosity is kind of as an artist, how does the remote world add more value to your ability to do your work better?
It gives you breathing. It gives you breathing space, basically. Because I've been in the agency environments. I worked for Leo Burnett Jakarta for years, and then I've basically been in publishing design, and then the branding consultant before this, and then now in Axon Park. So, but most of the skills that the things that I learned was from the branding consultant before this, because we had the asynchronous and synchronous working, but that's for later. But as for what this does for creativity, it gives your mind breathing space. It allows it to wander, because that's where in creative work and design you need this. You need to go out and take a walk, and maybe walking down Beluda Bay, you see how the bay is shaped and how the buildings are across the water, and you're thinking, oh, okay, that actually works for the new Mars map that we're building. Or you see some small construction machines on some apartments being built, and then, oh yeah, those tiny trucks, it actually makes sense because, the streets are so small, and this works for a space colony as well, because you're constrained in small spaces. So everything has to be vertical. And, K-car principles in vehicles and machinery. So, we're so lucky we live in an age where we have a camera all the time. And that's where you get references and you get inspiration. But sitting on a desk and just going through Google or going through Midjourney to get references, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Okay.
It doesn't work. But exploring, yes.
So that's how it's really at. Now I'm curious, how do you, maybe one of the harder ones for me would be, because that's it, on a creative day, I will not even work from home, I will work from anywhere else but home and get a lot done. But sometimes it's also hard to get back to the focus. So how, as an artist, do you make sure that then the team doesn't go off into, or is that actually welcomed by Axon Park because it is the virtual reality?
Well, it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act.
Okay.
But again, because at the end of the day, we all have accountability.
Okay.
There is always the
easy.
deadline.
Okay.
And we do have incremental build inclusion deadlines where we will test the build every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, we've kind of built this culture in such a way that, we want to have things in once, the build is up and we can look and explore it together. So, yes, you can have that time to wander and explore the creativity. But at the end of the day, you have to implement it. You have to put it on paper, or you have to model it, and you have to put it into the engine. So I don't know, when you're going to do the remote working, there is a strong sense of responsibility and that accountability, and I think that is what keeps us delivering.
And then that links back to exactly it starts from having the right people on your team.
Yes. And instilling that culture.
Yes, and maintaining that. Okay. So we've spoken about kind of the beauties of it. What would the challenges have been in your journey?
Ooh, okay. So the challenges would be the time zones back then, because when I was back in Jakarta, the morning stand-ups were at 10:30 Malta time. Okay. So Central European Standard.
Okay.
And it would be 4:30 my time.
So it's not inspirational in the morning.
It's
Kind
not
of.
I don't know if it's age or what, but my
It was zone out time for you.
the mornings is for high concept and high problem solving time. In branding, that would be when I'm sketching and finding inspiration in art direction. But after a certain hour, that's like, this is when you reply emails. This is when you do repetitive things.
The donkey stuff that your brain doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a hard one. Your team were getting the best value out of it, but you were missing a little bit.
I had to shift gears constantly to get back to that, and sometimes it involves caffeine. But it worked for a while. But I felt the strain a little bit. But that's why after moving here and sharing the same time zone, it was very nice. I'm at the same energy as these younger people that are just we want to build this, we want to build that. Like, hold on a minute. Let me get my coffee first.
Excellent. Okay. So the time zone for you has been the challenge. So it's not really about the remote. It's really about the bigger world and the bigger extension of things. Okay. And so before you touched on the asynchronous, synchronous world. Yeah. How does that contribute to getting the culture and the workflow better for you?
Okay. So, well, in my sense, the whole synchronous and asynchronous thing boils down to the whole, could this have been an email? The argument of, do you want to have constant meetings all the time? Or can we have like detailed documents that communicate very clearly?
So agreeing what the expectation is of communication.
Agreeing.
Okay.
So yeah.
And how have you got it right?
We... like anything, there's always room for improvement, but so far it's worked. It's worked quite well. But again, right now we have a small team. Okay. And I am so blessed to have this team right now because we've got such talented people.
I think kudos to your team because you've only spoken praise.
Yes. Mandy is a godsend, I will say. But yeah, it's right now we have a small team. But later when we have, let's say, 5 or 6 people working on art and 3D, there's going to be so much more things to...
Because you're all patchwork into each other's work. Okay.
Exactly. So, even then, I think we may have to start evolving the culture or start implementing different things to factor that in. And we're not even talking about time zones yet. So, it's evolving. Okay. It's evolving. But as long as you try to make it work.
And so one curiosity, we are seeing a lot of companies all over the world, actually. It was really interesting because we went completely remote. Yeah. Then people loved it and stayed there. And now we're seeing a lot of companies almost reinvest in more of bringing people back in. Now, I would say for us at Imdina Partners, having a nice office space has been an important part. So to me, the attraction of having an office space has been important. But if I gave you the full choice, and again, difficult in an Axon Park where you are all over the world, but what would your preference be? Would it be 100% remote? Would it be 100% office? Or where's the magic in between?
So back when I was in the creative consultant, we actually had a hybrid system. Most of the days, it's definitely work from home. Okay. But of course, there are times when you have to sit together and see test prints or the mock-ups of, let's say, a book or some kind of printed material that you have to look together and brainstorm or discuss. So it's nice having the distance, but it's also nice to come together sometimes and, just to actually meet and see the person.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
But yeah.
So the hybrid world would be what you would recommend for leaders out there?
The hybrid world would be nice, but we don't have to enforce, like, let's say, it has to be 2 days a week. But on a required basis, or when, basically, let's get the team together and let's just have them socialize and actually, look at real human beings for a bit.
For sure. So moving to maybe more of the curious side to Taja, because there are so many interesting stories and I think detours to your story.
What did you hear?
Your LinkedIn says a lot, and I think there's a book, there's a lot that you... What is one of the coolest...
I forgot about that.
Coolest thing you feel you've created? The one you're really proud of? my world, because exactly in the training space, you are my future. But maybe one curiosity, and this is more on the VR space. What are you most excited about? What's coming our way that you are really curious about? Or is that high secret you can't tell us?
Oh, for Axon Park
No, I think in
specifically,
general,
or
in the VR
general,
world.
In the VR world.
Or something you're dying to try?
There are so many things. There are so many things in development that
Okay.
might come, but maybe sometimes in the near future, hopefully, maybe we'll have full dive where we can actually be fully immersed.
Okay.
But I mean, that is still far,
Okay.
far in the future.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, we'll leave it to Axon Park to take us there. Cool.
Amen.
Okay, so wrapping this up, quick 3 tips you would give to a new leader still waddling around the remote world. What would you tell them to do to get it right
Okay.
when it comes to leadership of a remote team?
Communication, asynchronous and synchronous communication. Know when to call a meeting and know when to leave it as a document.
Okay.
One source of truth, that is an important thing. Make sure that your team is not working on the wrong thing, basically. So you don't overscope. You have one person that is responsible for, this is the scope that we need to do, and you follow that.
Yep.
You adhere to that. That is the one word of law. And third, treat your team like people. Just be nice to them. Realize they have lives as well outside of this. And, don't be a That's where it gets bleeped.
I think you are the first person who said that on our podcast. Thank you, Taja.
Thank
you. Okay, so rounding that up, Taja, thank you for your energy. Thank you for your humor as well. And thank you for your creativity, because honestly, you have, welcomed me into a world I didn't really know. I was scared of, I would say. So thank you.
It is actually scary.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us for another podcast of the Elevate series. We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you and take care.